brand new to this call, welcome. I probably am going to scream a lot. I'm probably going to cuss a lot. I've been known to do a bunch of weird stuff. But I can tell you, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I just, you can guarantee that it's probably going to be a little bit discolored, off-colored. But I can guarantee you that if you stay on this stream, if you watch this through the end, I will give you something, whether it's something I say, whether it's something I say that makes you think of something else. You will take something, you will glean something from the next 45 minutes that you're with me that you can take and you can put it into practice and you can go and you can make money. That is my goal. It has always been my goal when I'm planning these calls, when I'm like, who can I bring on? What should I talk about? There's a million things, guys. I could get on this and do what every other person out on the internet does and say, Q&A, let's do Q&A. You know what? Q&A doesn't take any preparation. Q&A takes zero preparation. I can show up, you guys can ask me questions and I can answer them. Zero preparation, okay? That's the easy thing to do. That would be the easy thing to do. That's what everybody does. And so because everybody does it, I sit here and I go, okay, yes, Q&A is valuable sometimes. But what is the thing that y'all need to hear that are on this call right now? Maybe you're brand new to the group. Maybe you're in Australia. Maybe you're in Canada. Maybe you're wherever. And every single person is here for a different reason, but we're all here for the same reason. We're all here because we want to escape the rat race. We want to get rich. And I'm not just talking about money, although I am talking about money. We want to get financially rich. We want to have, and by rich, I mean, we want to be free. We want to have freedom because that's what we really want, right? We want to have that money that allows us to do those things. We want to be financially free, location free, and time free. We also want to be able to do it, dressing how we want to dress, saying it how we want to say it, and just doing it on our schedule, which comes back to the time. But we're all here for that reason, even though all of us are in a different situation, and some of us are in better situations than others. Some of you guys are in a 9-to-5 that you absolutely hate, and you don't know if you can finish one more day at freaking work, and you're about to blow your brains out. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. I knocked doors for 4 years. I've been there, and you're just scraping. How do I get through next month? Because I could barely get through today. Some of you guys have businesses that you thought were going to be the ticket out of the game, the ticket out of the rat race. And you found out just because you own a business doesn't mean you have financial freedom. Doesn't mean you have time freedom. Doesn't mean you have location freedom. It very well could mean you just have another job that now has 5, 10, 15 bosses, more stress, more hours. Yeah, maybe you're making a little bit more money, but you're doing double the work. You're like, shit, maybe I should just go back to being a 9-to-5er where I don't have to think at all. Okay. Maybe you're a single mom, single dad, stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad. And you're like, dude, I want to go and I want to build and I want to grow and I want to create this thing called passive income. Whatever the case is, guys, we are all here because we want to build assets that we own. We want to build assets that we control, and we want to build assets that are going to pay us and our families for years and years and decades to come. Okay. So with that said, guys, I'm excited about today. I've got a really fun show planned for you guys, really fun live. I am standing today, but I've been standing for a few hours. So at some point I may lower it down. I'm not sure. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling fresh. I got a nice bottle of water, a fresh spray tan, fresh cut. Couldn't be feeling better. Guys, real quick before we jump into this, I want to remind every single person on this call, it is July 5th. I know you guys are like, yeah, we know, dude. It was the 4th of July yesterday. Great. Great. We're halfway through 2023. Halfway, dude. We are halfway through 2023. Who remembers literally what seemed like yesterday when you were planning your goals, when you said this was going to be the year? This was the year you're not going to put up with the bullshit at work. This is the year that you were going to get in shape and you're going to fit back into that little dress or whatever if you're a woman, or you're going to be able to fill out that t-shirt if you're a guy, right? Who like we had all these ambitious goals, or maybe they were relationship goals or with your kids or whatever. And it's halfway through, and the majority of the people on this call haven't done shit. They haven't done shit. And if they said that they were going to do this, they haven't even made it half of the way there, which is where we should be, because they were halfway through. And so I want to give you guys an analogy, and I want to tell you guys what I'm doing. Now, this is something I talked deeply about yesterday on our Digital Landlords Live. I talked about this. I'm not going to go into all the details, of course, but I want to just give you the premise of what's on my mind right now. Okay. Guys, I'm looking at this like it's halftime. Okay. We're playing a game and it's halftime. And I don't know about you guys, but I've seen a lot of baseball games, or not baseball. I can't stand baseball. I've seen a lot of football games. I've seen a lot of basketball games. By the way, if you like baseball, I'm sorry, but not. I think the sport's super boring. And I thought the game was over at halftime, right? And maybe it's my team that was winning. And by the end of it, I'm like, shit, we just lost the game. Or vice versa. My team is losing and we come back and win it, right? Now, I'm not a huge sports guy, but I've seen this. But here's what you got to look at. And I want you to just think of this. If you close your eyes and you think about a map of the United States, okay? At the beginning of the year, we were sitting in Portland, Oregon, right? That's the northwest corner of the US. And let's say that our goal by the end of the year, by December 31st, was to be in Miami, right? Or whatever, the bottom, that's basically the bottom of Florida, okay? Which is like as far away as you can get. That was the goal. And whatever your goal was, whatever it was 10K, maybe your goal was just to get one deal. Maybe it was to get 10K, maybe it was to get to 50K. Maybe it was to be able to quit your job, start this and put $20,000 in the bank or pay off the credit card debt. That is your Miami, right? It's where you start and then where you want to end up. And if we mapped it out, we should have, first of all, had the goal. Second of all, had the map that said, hey, we need to go this fast. We need to have, by February, we need to be in this state. Maybe you're in Salt Lake City by March, and then you're in whatever. And we need to travel this fast. And we can have this many pit stops and all these different things, right? We're using the analogy. And according to the map, we should be halfway there. We should be halfway there. And the reality is that we're not. 99% of the people listening to this right now are not, okay? And if we're using that same analogy, that would be the equivalent of you just woke up and realized, hey, we're halfway through the year, but I ain't halfway to Miami. I'm sitting in North Dakota. And what in the hell am I doing? How did I end up in North Dakota? How did I get so sidetracked? Or some of y'all haven't even left Portland. Some of you guys haven't even left the state of Oregon, and you still want to get to Miami. So what I'm doing this week is I am, number one, auditing. How the hell did I end up in North Dakota when I should be in Alabama, when I should be in Huntsville, Alabama, on my way to Miami? Why am I only in North Dakota? Or why have I not left Oregon in this area? Okay. So number one, I am auditing where I'm at, how I got there, why I'm only there. And then here's what we have to do, guys. We can still get to that goal. You can still get to that 10K that you wanted to get to, but you're going to have a different map, right? The same map that you had that goes from Portland to Miami is not going to be the same map that you use to go from North Dakota to Miami. Okay. And what you're going to realize when you start doing this is, hey, I can still hit it. And I don't want you guys changing your goal. I just want you to realize you're going to have to change the map. And that map, it's going to need to be more aggressive. And instead of going 60 miles an hour, we might need to bump that up to 80. And if we're going to bump it up to 80, we might need to get into a different vehicle, right? Or we might need to have a passenger that's driving with us, AKA an employee or a contractor that can be working while we're sleeping, so we can take turns and we can continually be doing work. We have to start using our heads of going, hey, instead of just saying, hey, I don't want to go to Miami anymore. I'm good with Huntsville, Alabama. Let's keep the goal, but let's figure out what we need to change on the map. Okay. So this week I'm auditing. Literally, I got my notes right here. I just barely messaged Ashley. I said, okay, how much cash have we collected? How much did we collect per month? How much have we collected quarter one and quarter two? The second question, how many sales calls have we been on? How many total prospects have we talked to? How many total sales calls have we done? How many totals people did we close? And then lastly, what's our attrition? Because I don't care how many people come into the business. If we don't keep them, it doesn't matter. Okay. So this is exactly what I'm doing. And I'm just encouraging you guys. It's halfway through. The good teams, the good coaches, they go into the locker room at halftime and they go, let's figure out what the hell went wrong. Why are we down 20 points when we were supposed to be in this game? And not only in this game, we're supposed to be ahead. So what I'm saying, guys, is that if you still are like, hey, I want to make this the year, and you realize that there might not be a next year, or if you keep saying next year, you're going to be that person that's overweight, broke, and has regret, that keeps saying, I'm going to start the diet on Monday. You can continue to do that. But when are you going to draw the line in the sand? When are you going to wake up and say, that's it, I said this year, I'm going to figure this year out, even if the second half of the year is a dead sprint? Okay. Second thing really quick is I want you guys, I used to say this a lot. I haven't said it as much anymore, or I don't say it as often, but I want you guys to not just listen to what I'm saying, but I want you to watch what I'm doing. Okay. And not only me, but I want you guys, with everyone you watch online, every bit of content you consume, don't just listen to what they're saying. Watch what they are doing. Because I can tell you right now, there's some people that I personally know, they're in different industries, but I can think of somebody right now that I see their clips pop up on my Instagram, these rah coaching about having success and all this different shit. Literally happened to me today. I keep seeing this person's stuff, I go to the gym and that person isn't doing shit at the gym. They're literally sitting on their phone doing nothing. But that's the same person talking about working out and talking about doing it at this high rate and speed, and you just got to push through pain. It's like, motherfucker, I didn't see you doing anything at the gym. Okay. So don't just listen to what people are saying, watch what they're doing. And there's a common saying, people say success leaves clues. So watch what I'm doing. Okay. Why do you think I'm doing this call every single week? Watch me in that I say, hey, in order for us to get deals, you got to give clients leads first. You got to provide value before you go ask for the deal. What the hell do you think I'm doing on this call? Why do you think I'm doing this every single Wednesday? Forever. I've been doing it for 18 months and I'm going to keep doing it. And guys, the majority of you guys have never paid me $1. And some of you will never pay me. But guess what? I'm going to keep showing up, because I know that in order to win in this game, with how loud it is out there and how many people are trying to get your attention, to get you to give them money and saying, this is the next thing and this thing, I got to be different. And you know what's the key to being different is just give people what they are trying to buy already for free. Let them sample it, let them taste it, let them touch it, and hopefully they make money on it. Okay. I hope you guys take what I'm talking about and you go and make money. I don't hope that you try it and you get stuck. That's not the goal. That's not the goal at all. I want you guys to make money on it, because you guys, once you start making money, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, what do I do now? How do I do this? And oh, I got that deal, but now my ads aren't working. And oh, what? And there's going to be so many questions that I'm not playing in this from a scared mindset that, oh my gosh, if I give too much, somebody might make money. I want you to make money. I want you to make money. And that's why I share what I share. Okay. So guys, watch what I'm doing. Watch the consistency. Whether I'm in Africa, whether I'm here, whether I'm in Mexico, I fucking show up. Okay. I follow my own process. I don't just talk about sending free leads. I give free value up front. I'm doing exactly as I train. Okay. So guys, watch me and see and ask yourself, is this guy walking the walk? Whoa, my phone. Is he walking the walk because he's talking the talk, but is he actually walking the walk? Guys, guess what? I'm still doing cold calls. I'm still doing closing calls. I'm still looking at new niches. I'm still doing due diligence. We're still hiring outsourcers. I am still growing. And I want you guys to watch everything that I'm doing, not just what I'm saying. And I want you to do it for not just me, but for everybody. That's the quickest way to find out if someone's full of shit. Okay. Guys, with that said, I got to show you something very interesting. I want to ask this question in the comments. This is the last thing I'm going to do. Then I'm going to bring our guest on. But guys, I want to ask this question in the comments. Who on this call has had the question, is rank and rent saturated? Has anyone on this call, I want to know in the comments, who has actually had that question? Is rank and rent saturated? I want to know. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull up. I want to show you guys why I'm asking that question. Okay. I'm going to go over here. I want to see it, guys. Joseph said, or sorry, Aaron said he originally did. Who else did? Who else has had that question? Enrique says, no, it's not. But you've had the question, right? Who has had that question? I'm going to tag everyone real quick. Where's my everyone tag? Who has had that question, or who has that question? I'm not going to hate on you if you have that question. It's not a bad thing. I would argue everyone's had it. Gayu says, I was wondering if the niches are beat down, but if GMB is cracking down on, and if GMB is cracking down on R&R. Okay. Me-ish. Okay. Who else? Enrique did. Anyone else? Gary Waller. I've had it. I did. I know when I got into it in 2016, I thought, man, this is a great business model. I wish I would have done this 5 years ago. Did I miss it? I was asking myself if it was saturated back in 2016. Sarah, I still feel smug. Sarah, that's an interesting comment. I would love to know what you mean by that. What do you mean you still feel smug? Okay. Guys, why don't I show you something really quick, and then we're going to just rip right into this. Let me go like this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Hang tight. Let me know if you guys can hear me or see me still. Hold on. Okay. Can you guys, oh shit, hold on. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Let me know if you guys can see my screen. I believe you can. Okay, I want to show you this really quick. And I'm only showing you guys this because I've given you 100 different reasons why this model is anything but saturated, but I want to show you some data here, okay? The funny thing about this question, guys, is every single online business, every single online opportunity is asking the same question. I have not wouldn't say a friend, I have a colleague of mine. He's big in the SMMA space. He sells programs. I don't know if he actually makes money doing it, but he's made a lot of money selling how to do an SMMA, right? And there's a bunch of people doing this. And literally I was watching one of his stories the other day and somebody asked the same question, is SMMA saturated? And he listed like 5 reasons. He's like, no, and here's why. And at first when he said no, I was like, you're full of shit, dude. SMMA is so saturated, right? But guess what? He listed like 3, 4, 5 good reasons. I'm like, dude's right. Dude's right. SMMA isn't even saturated. SMMA is so much more common than this. But guys, I'm going to take you over to SEMrush, SEMrush.com. This data is not accurate per se. We're not looking at the numbers. We're looking at the comparisons, okay? So what I want you to see is if I type in rank and rent. Now, this industry is called rank and rent. This industry is called local lead generation. This industry is called digital real estate. It's got a bunch of different names for it, okay? I call it rent then rank, but obviously I'm the only one that does that, so I'm not going to type that in. But I would say that this is probably the most common name is this is rank and rent, okay? So I typed this in on SEMrush, rank and rent. It says that there's a search volume in the US of 590 searches per month, okay? Globally, 2.9 thousand, okay? Some of you guys are sitting there going, what the hell does that mean? Why are you showing me that? I'm going to show you why I'm doing that right now. Let's go over to open another window and let's type in this little thing called drop shipping. You guys have all heard of drop shipping, right? Okay. Okay, guys, look at this. 590. Okay. Sorry for the screen, but I just want to make a point here. 590 with rank and rent on this tool, and drop shipping is 60,000, 60.5 thousand. Okay. We're literally, let's pretend this is 600 to make this easy math. We're literally talking about 100 searches. Well, is that the right math? Let me just make sure I'm not doing this wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do 60,500 divided by 600. Okay, exactly what I thought, 101. For every single person that's out there looking at getting into rank and rent, there are 100 people that are searching drop shipping, okay? And that's just in the US. If you go outside the US, you go globally, you're looking at a comparison of 3,000 versus 711,000. So it's even more competitive, more saturated as we get into these other countries. The point is, guys, this industry is so new still. It's still in its infancy. And I just want to remind you, if this is your first call, and Sarah, I need to look at your response here in just a second. If it's your first call and you're sitting there going, I don't know, like there's 2 types of people. Some people are like, I don't know if it's a viable business model, which is something I used to ask 7 years ago when I didn't know anyone else doing it. Now the question is like, no, it's viable. There's so many people that have made so much money, but is it saturated? I'm here to show you guys that if you think that rank and rent saturated, you've bumped your head, okay? And this is just another reason. We could talk about niches. We could talk about new business owners coming online. We could talk about new niches that aren't even thought of. Like I shared a niche on my YouTube channel, like I think 2 weeks ago. It was something that 5 years ago wasn't even a niche. It wasn't even something that people were doing. Now it's a niche that works for this model, or we think it does. And it's like, how many of those? I was having a conversation on Monday. I did a live stream. I did an interview with Amy Ball, who's been in this space just as long as me, maybe even longer. And she brought up a niche. She didn't even say, hey, here's a new one to give you. She's like, yeah, I had this website and such and such. I'd never even heard of this niche. And to her, it's something she'd been doing. Guys, there are so many opportunities. There's so many niches. Stop having this scarcity mentality and realize we are just getting started, okay? Beautiful. Guys, with that said, I'm going to bring on our guest today. For the next 30 minutes, we are going to be talking. I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to be bringing somebody on, and the title of this is From Contractor to Six-Figure Lead Gen Empire. Okay, and I'm going to share this person's story. But you guys are going to find this very fascinating. A lot of times I bring people on, and it's like, okay, I was in a job and I decided to start doing this, or I had this business and I started doing this, or I was doing an agency and I started selling lead generation. Today's, I'm going to be bringing somebody on who actually started as a small business owner, actually started as a contractor that was doing the work. That was literally the person that you sell the leads to. That was this guy. Okay. And he finally wised up and he's like, dude, there's this guy that's selling me the leads. He doesn't have to go clean carpets. He doesn't have to do any of this bullshit. Why don't I look into that? And I'm happy to say this dude's crushing it right now. We're going to get into all that and more. Let me go ahead and add him to the call. Let's give it up for Mr. Shane Terril. Get a drink of water. Shane. Oh, sorry, that's me. What's up, bro? Can you hear me?
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? Can you hear me? What's going on? Hold on, is that me echoing or you? Hold on, is that me echoing or you? Hold on, is that me echoing or you?
Get out of it.
I mean, I like hearing my voice twice, but yeah, I like hearing my voice. Oh yeah, that's like hearing it 4 times. I like that. Keep going. Shane Terril, what's up, bro?
You hear me?
I can hear you great. How you doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Oh, just freaking enjoying this fresh spray tan. How about you?
I'm not getting a spray tan, I'll tell you that.
Oh, dude, you don't even know the game. The thing is, once you get a spray tan, then you're going to want to get the nails done, and it's like, it's game over. So we'll get you there. We'll get you there. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Shane reminds me of my dad. My dad like looks at me sometimes. He's like, what the hell? Did I really raise that kid? Come on. Okay, really quick. The cool part, I want to mention this. We've actually had Shane on before. This isn't his first time. But he's been growing, he's been building, he's been making moves, and he's done a lot of stuff since we talked last time. And there's a lot of new people in this group. But I want to make mention of this, dude. You are somebody who's very interested in physical real estate, just like me. And if I'm not mistaken, that house that you're in right now is a property that when we first like started talking, you were trying to go under contract for that property, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, this dude's a hustler. He literally has I'm not going to go into details, but he made some moves to get, I mean, he's all about assets and he understands the game of assets, and the house that he's in right now is an asset that he really had to not finagle, but he had to really massage that deal, but he does deals. So Shane, tell everyone real quick, I know where you're at, where are you at physically in the world? And if you tell people where it's at, because most people are not going to know where it's at.
Yeah, so I live in Logandale, Nevada, which if you guys know where Vegas is, obviously, and then you know where Nick lives in St. George, Utah. I live, like if you take the interstate from Vegas to St. George, I live halfway in between the two, in a little small farm town. Yeah.
And you grew up there, right?
I did. Yep.
So Shane is close enough to Vegas that he could dip over and really get in trouble on any night of the week, but he's not like that. But he's also close enough that he can come to St. George that easily as well. So, dude, I had to share this real quick, catch everyone up that wasn't on last time. The way that Shane and I met is Shane owned a carpet cleaning company, and I think it was about 5 years ago. Cowboy Kyle, I got a lot of stories about Cowboy Kyle that we're not going to share on here because I don't want to get like, defamation or whatever, but I got some stuff on Kyle. Kyle's like, dude, I have this buddy of mine. I don't even know if you guys were friends. I think he used the word buddy. He's got a carpet cleaning company. And this is when we didn't know what we were doing. We were selling some SEO. We were selling some lead generation. We were selling pay-per lead deals. And he's like, he's coming in to talk to us. So Shane comes in and we pitched him on buying leads. And I think I offered him like $500 a month. And we couldn't close him, dude. We did not close Shane. He just knew at that time, you could sense something was off. And honestly, thank goodness you didn't, because at that time I was dumb enough. I didn't even realize carpet cleaning was that competitive. And so it probably wouldn't have worked out long-term anyway. But it's funny because I've closed a lot of deals. I couldn't close Shane Terrell. So he beat us there. So that was back in 2018. And then you were running your carpet cleaning company. So quickly catch us up to the day when you're like, you had somebody call you, start selling you leads, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna start asking what this guy's doing.
Yeah, so when you pitched me right around the same time, I don't know exactly, but I had signed up for another, and you know Zach, and
Yeah.
signed up for his rank and rent. He's doing the same thing. I
Yep.
think you guys both originated same place. So I had signed up for him, and until and we're going to get into this, but until I sold that company, sold the carpet cleaning company, I paid for his lead gen website. So yeah, I'd gotten leads for a long time from him, and then started getting curious, and then had that conversation with Zach, and without going into a ton of details, because of that, got into rank and rent. We connected again, and yeah, I went from there. So yeah.
And guys, the reason that I wanted to bring that up, and we talked about it a little bit last time, but there's different levels to this game, guys. And I shared the quote. I don't know if you guys saw my post, but I shared the quote, and I think it's Warren Buffett that originally said it. And he said something to the extent of, the boat that you are in, the boat that you're crossing the water in, is way more important than how hard you're actually rowing the boat. And I didn't really understand that until I started like getting into this business. And I realized, like, there definitely, if you're not willing and don't know how to work hard, you're never going to make it in business. But you can sit there and you can beat your head against the wall, and you can work and you can work and you can sweat and you can all of that. But like, if you're not in the right vehicle, if you're not selling the right deliverable, if you don't have a business model that actually has leverage, you can work twice as hard as me, and I'm still going to beat you. And it's going to be so frustrating. And so the interesting thing, Shane, I think we come from a very similar background. And like, dude, my parents to this day, that's what my dad does. My dad's a farmer, and it's all about hard work. And it's all about how fast can we get the hay baled and all this stuff. But I realized, like, when I got into digital, dude, it's not just about how many hours you can put in. It's about the leverage. And so Shane went from being the guy that actually has to do the work, that has to be, cleaning cat piss and doing, and he made a good living. He provided for his family, but now he can make more money from behind his computer, being the person that's just connecting the customer with the company. So, but yeah, what I want to talk about really quick is, you did the carpet cleaning business for how many years?
Since 2016. So what, I think just over 7 years.
So,
yeah.
And what was, if you don't mind me asking, like, what was the best amount, like, what was the most amount of money that you ever made? And I'm talking about net, not about like, over, like, like, what was the most you put in your pocket in a month?
In a month? So just carpet cleaning, probably 7-8 grand.
Okay. And you probably, I'm guessing that's with staff, that's with how many jobs? I mean, you probably worked your tail off that month. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, yeah, I'll say this. There was like a 2 or 3 year period early on where we grew a lot. We were hustling. I was working most of the time, 5.5, 6 days a week, 10, 12 hours. Like, we were working, and it felt great, and we were growing. I can't even, like, and talking about the right boat, if I would have had that 2 or 3 year period with that same amount of energy, work ethic, all that, but we had a different vehicle on, and there's a bunch of them, but rank and rent included, like I would be in a much better place than I currently am. And I'm not in a bad place. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But that's the key, and I think that's your point you were trying to make earlier. Uh, that's what I realized is I am a hard worker, but my vehicle, like you got to have a good vehicle, or you're not going to see you're not going to see the fruit that you want, for sure.
Dude, you know what's crazy is if we're talking about pound for pound hardest workers in the world, you know what place has some of the maybe the hardest workers in the world is Africa, dude. Like I spent the last 3 months going, holy shit, did that guy, I literally woke up and he was literally taking a hammer and pounding rocks. And I ate lunch and he was still doing it. And did a call, and like all day for 3 months, I watched this guy do it. Like who would do that, right? And the dude is making $1 an hour. And I love the hustle, but that guy worked way harder than I did during those 3 months. And if we look at the amount of money I made versus the amount of money he made, it's not even close. And so the point I'm trying to make with you guys is, for those that are on this call or that will watch this call and they're sitting there going, well, I haven't, I've got this, or I'm doing that, or whatever. And they're looking at other opportunities. And they're looking at this, and should I do this? I want you to just really think about the vehicle that you're going to spend your life in, or you're going to spend your next year or 6 months or 5 years in. Does that vehicle have the ability to go at the speed that's going to allow you to actually make life-changing money? And let's be honest, you could have made millions of dollars doing carpet cleaning. Like there are people that are making millions of dollars doing carpet cleaning, but you would have had so much stress. You would have had to have so many crews, and you would have had so much liability and insurance and moving pieces and parts. And you wouldn't have had the time freedom. You wouldn't have had the location freedom. You wouldn't have it would have been so radically different in order for you to do it. And the chances of you getting to that stage in carpet cleaning versus getting there with this is night and day. And so I guess what the point I'm trying to make is, when I started out doing door-to-door sales, that was a great cash flow, man. I was making $150,000 a year, right? I was stoked. I hadn't gone to college, none of that. But I realized as I sat there and looked at it, I can't work that much harder than I already am. I'm already working harder than everybody in my office. I'm knocking 5 extra doors after dark. I'm getting the police called on me. I'm giving up time with my family. And I'm not going to magically go make $1 million next year. I might get to 200, but I'm going to have to work twice as hard. And that's when I realized, like, I got to get out of this, and I need to make sure that the thing that I get into has leverage. And then I got into that, and then it was just this evolution. And so what I need you guys to realize is, as you are considering getting into this business, and the reason we're talking about this is because this is the free group. This is the group where some of you guys have never even started this business. Some of you guys are just in here peeking around. Some of you in here going, is this a viable business? Is this a business that I should do? And I'm here to show you, like, this is somebody who was the contractor, saw the writing on the wall and went, dude, I can literally make at least the same amount of money with a way better lifestyle. So let's talk about, 7 years later, 8 years later, what was it, a month ago, you actually just barely sold the company.
Yeah. Yep. Less than a month ago. And really, like, you could say legally it's not done. It's done. But yeah, so less than a month ago, I've been out of it 100%. And it's a weird feeling.
What was it like? Like, do you feel way more? I mean, here's one thing that people have to, like, when you're used to manual labor or you're used to doing that, there is something to be said about waking up, doing hard physical labor, and like at night taking a shower and laying in bed. Like, even when I knocked door to door or worked on the farm, like, it feels good, right? Because you're like, I got something done, right? But the truth is, you can trick yourself, and like, your body might be tired, but you didn't add anything to your bank account. So you have to be careful of, like, just because it required a lot of physical labor doesn't mean you actually were productive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm that way too. Like, I love that feeling of, like, especially like being able to go see something that you built.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge for me because I've got employees now and like people building websites for me. I don't do that anymore. Cold callers. And it's a weird feeling when you're doing whatever. Like yesterday, some of my VAs that I have, like they're in the Philippines. It's not freaking 4th of July for them. So they were still working.
Yep.
And that's a weird feeling, like you're out doing whatever, yet things are still getting done. Yeah, and that's been an adjustment. It's definitely been a weird month.
Yeah. I'm sure not in a good way though, but what I'm saying, and again, I'm kind of speaking to the person that's sitting there like, should I jump in? Is this like, there is this transition that you have to make mentally of like, just because you're not physically tired doesn't mean that you weren't productive, because some of the days that I'm the most tired, I don't move from this chair at all. And I am just on calls and I'm doing lives and I'm creating content and I'm doing internal meetings and I'm hiring this person and I'm making this call and doing that pitch. And I'm not out there freaking moving hand lines and moving pipe and getting dirty and all that stuff, but I am, make no mistake, I am making moves. So yeah, that it is a transition, especially and anyone that's either currently a business owner that's doing something where they're actually in the business. I know there's actually surprisingly a lot of people in this group, because when you join this group, I asked you questions and a lot of people like, hey, I do this, but I'm looking at generating leads for my business. And I'm sitting here telling you, instead of sitting here going, let me generate leads for my business, what if you have you or should you consider, why not just being a lead generator for multiple businesses? Like, and that's really what you did. So what made your mind, like, how did you go? Like, for some of us, some people are like, yeah, that's a no-brainer, but people don't realize when you're raised like that, when that's what you've seen and that's what you've grown up and that's just what's in your head. Like, that's all my dad knows. And he's the hardest worker I know, but he always tells me that all the time. He's like, dude, I just need you to like, tell me how to get out of this, because I know I'm working way harder than you are, but like, what's going on here? And I need to just change my mindset. But when did you like wake up and go, dude, I need to make a change? Was it that you needed more time with the family? Is it that you felt like, man, I'm going to die early because I'm working so hard? Or like, what made you decide to make that move?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of things. But probably the two that stand out, like, so my dad, my grandpa, my brother, really my whole family comes from the construction world. And honestly, all of them are successful. All of them make over 6 figures, do really well. But none of them are happy. And
define, what do you mean by happy? Like they're not happy with what they're doing. Like, it's like, oh, I got to get to work again.
Yeah, dude, they get 2 weeks a year off. So we'll get a little personal here, but like, it started to click in the last year. So I have a sister-in-law that got diagnosed with basically terminal cancer. My brother's wife.
Damn.
And sure, they had the income to give her the best available medical care, but like, my sister-in-law is going to doctor's appointments that are literally like life or death, right? And my brother's at work,
Damn, dude.
like, who wants to be that? Like, who wants to be at work while their wife's dying, right? And so that was big for me, like, because that's like carpet cleaning. Even though I had ran my own business, like, and I did have. I don't want to paint this picture like I was a slave to my business, because we lived a pretty good life, but I still, like, I didn't have leverage. Like, I had to be there. If I wasn't involved, we weren't making money. And so nothing's like totally 100% passive, but I knew that I needed to get into a vehicle that allowed me to scale bigger without me being babysitting, I guess, so that, if that happened to my wife or, uh, we wanted to do stuff, but I had the ability to do that.
So how did you, because I can imagine when you started transitioning from being the person doing the work to being the person selling the leads, I bet you had so many things, so many, maybe not insecurities, but so many doubts of like, dude, who am I? Like, I'm just a construction carpet cleaner, that world. And I think, who am I fooling? I think I can go make money online. Like, did you have a bunch of that? Because I imagine that coming from that world, you're probably like, that's for other people. That's not what I like. Did you have any of that?
I feel like I probably still do, like every time like I get a new client, it's like, dude, man, do I really know what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
Um,
The little imposter syndrome almost that everyone seems to have.
yeah, for sure.
What's your plan? Like what was your plan before digital real estate with your real estate? Was it just by the way, do you know what's funny? I say when I say real estate, I say real like REEL. My buddy pointed it out and it should be real, but I'm from Utah, so what do you blame me? But I know you're super interested in real estate and like buying houses, buying apartments, all that kind of stuff. When you heard of this model, was it kind of the same light bulb moment that a lot of us had of like, oh, this is like the same thing, but I could do it online? Or did you have that connection as well?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I I love real estate still. I think I will still do it. I'll still buy rental properties. But yeah, man, there's just so much less capital that has to go into it to get a similar like to get a similar return. I've got rental properties that cash flow over $1,000, but I also have websites that cash flow $2,000, and the capital investments,
Fractions.
yeah, right.
The returns on these properties, and by the way, let's set the record straight, because I'm not sitting here going, digital real estate is better than physical real estate, because let's call it what it is. There are things that physical real estate have that digital will never have, like depreciation, which is something that if you don't know what I'm talking about, once you start getting to certain income levels, it is going to change everything. So I'm never not going to be buying real estate. I'm sitting in a piece of real estate that I bought. So I'm not trying to like say this is better. It's just different, but it's also the same. But if you look at like returns, cash on cash returns, dude, every time I get a deal, I'm like looking at the money I had to put into the deal versus how much I'm getting out of it. That's why I laugh when people are like, dude, I spent like $1,500 in ads. You're like, do you know what a down payment on a freaking property? Like this isn't a huge property. This is like 450K. Down payment was 90 grand, right? 20%. So and my return on this, by the way, with the interest rate and stuff, barely making any money on this. And actually like with a really high amount of rent, I'll barely make $200 a month, right? Cash. Right. So go do the math on $200 times 12 months, $2,400, divide that by my $90,000 investment. That's a pretty shitty cash on cash return. Look at a website where you spend $1,500 to get the deal. Sorry, why am I getting a call from freaking, people should know I'm busy right now, dude. Son of a bitch. Don't call me between the hours of 4:30 or 5:30 any day of the week. And if you call me on Monday, you're not going to get me. Okay. Just a heads up. I'm going to choose somebody out. That's one of my team members. They should know better. But anyway, you look at the cash on cash returns with these, like even if you spent $2,000 to get a client, within 2 months, you're making that money back, or a month and a half. And you're going to, in the first year, your cash on cash return is going to be so stupid. It's not even comparable. Okay. So it's just fascinating. But every time I get a deal, I still go, dude, is this real? Like, is this actually real money? Are we, you know what I mean? Like, obviously it is, but those first couple deals, you're like, this can't be that simple. And I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's very, very simple. So
think the important thing is like the similarities though, that whether you do rank and rent or not, or I think you need to pay attention to like the benefits that this model has, that regular real estate has, of that recurring revenue that, you know, you only have to do the work for once, you know, in a way, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah, there's some back end work, sure, but you put a lot of work up front into that and it'll pay dividends, you know, as long as you take care of your client for a long time.
The game, dude, the game is so simple. Like, again, notice I'm saying the word simple, not easy. The
Yeah.
game of winning, the game of getting rich, and I know that's kind of a loose term because you could define rich as a lot of things, but let's call it rich just like financial freedom, right? Rich in freedom wise. The game of getting rich is so freaking simple. Write this down. Build, buy, and create cash flowing recurring assets. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Whether it's physical real estate, digital real estate, whether you go create a patent doesn't pay you recurring though. So that I guess that technically wouldn't be it. But I mean, technically an artist, somebody that creates music they create a song, that's an asset, right? That song is going to pay them every single month on TuneCore or whatever it is that they use. But if that's all you guys did, if that's the one thing you took away from anything I've ever said, because this is the advice I got a couple of years and it completely changed my life. Build, buy, and create cash flowing, recurring assets, and you will become rich. And some of you, it will happen sooner. Some of you happen later. That's all you got to do. And Shane is doing that. He's buying his physical real estate. Now he's creating his digital real estate. Like I'm doing the exact same thing. But what's so dope about this model is until we discovered this model, it was like the physical real estate, the Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was so out of reach. I got to save. Oh, I got to find that perfect deal. That's only 200 grand. Well, I still need $40,000 down. And then it's like, okay, now I got to go get creative on the next one. It's like, no, we can use this to pay our bills, create an amazing lifestyle, and use the leftover cash to go and invest in assets that are physical, actual assets.
And by the way, and this might be going a little too off topic, but buying physical real estate is getting harder and harder. Like
Very.
You need an excessive amount of, we'll call it active income, to get into that nowadays. And I don't think it's going to get easier. So,
dude,
you know,
have you found any deals lately in physical real estate? I've gone under contract. Well, I just got out of contract. I thought I had a deal locked down in Vegas. Dude, it's very hard to find a deal. And when he says, people are like, oh, there's houses for sale. We're talking about a deal that you can actually cash flow on. Have you found any lately?
And no, not really. Like, no, not with a high amount of money injected into where you create that cash flow.
Yeah. You have to go buy kind of like a piece of shit, fix it up. You have to create the value inside of the deal. And it's a lot of time and money.
Even not to keep going on the tangent, but even those, man, they're still out there. Don't get me wrong, but even those are barely breaking even.
That's crazy, dude. Well, it's because of interest rates and high prices. But no, I'm the same way. You guys want to know what I do every single night is I lay in bed, and I'm not saying this is a good habit because it gets me all pumped. I lay in bed and I usually can't fall asleep right off the bat. I open up Zillow and I have like 3-4 cities. I set my criteria. I check all the new properties in the last 24 hours. Then I go over to LoopNet, which is the commercial Zillow, and look at if there's anything new. There's rarely new stuff because commercial stuff only comes on every once in a while. Nope, no new stuff today. Every single day I see what comes on the market, and it's a wild, dude. The physical real estate world is a wild conundrum we're dealing with right now, dude.
Yeah, anybody that, and it may crash,
But here's the thing is what you can do is while we're waiting for either the interest rates to come down or the price to come down or both, we can continue to build digital assets for a fraction of the price of buying a physical. We can be smart about it. We can keep the money. We can save our money for those down payments. and we can be in a position where if it does crash, we actually have cash. And that's the whole point of what we're talking about here is everyone should be buying physical real estate. I truly believe that. I think that's the easiest way to become a millionaire and have a $1 million, $10 million, $100 million net worth. However, those deals are not, you can't just go build you can't just go buy an unlimited amount of deals like you can with digital. And it's so, you can build as many of these as you want. There's no limit to it. It's crazy, dude. When you really think about it and you're like, wait, I spent $200 on ads or even $500 on ads. They're paying me $1,500 a month. And it's going to cost me, a couple $100 with my team with SEO and stuff. I'm making $800 cash flow. And I could build another one in the next city and another one. And you're like, you start to realize like, dude, there's so much opportunity. It's insane. So let me see what we got really quick inside the questions. And Curtis Horn says, what parts of the business are you outsourcing, Shane?
For digital.
Yep, for digital. Yep.
So list building the websites, setting, I have appointment setters. So like setting what would you call that? Hooking the contractor.
Yep. Those like prospectors, they're setters. Yes. Cold callers.
Yeah. So cold callers. So I have a cold caller. I have, we'll call it an appointment setter who hooks contractors, someone that builds websites, someone that builds lists. And some of those people are the same, by the way. And then I have someone that I'm training to do SEO. I still do a lot of the SEO. Actually, my wife does a bit of it, but right now that's the one thing that we're trying to get 100% outsourced. So
Shane's doing it right. I didn't do it right, and I'm trying to like tell people like, guys, you don't need to do every part of the business. You don't need to be the cold caller and the closer and the lead passer and the due diligence and the whole thing. Shane is doing it right, where he's learning it, he's systematizing it, and then he's outsourcing it, and he's slowly moving himself out of these different aspects of his business so he can focus on sales. Okay. Couple more. Curtis Horn also said patent could be recurring if you license it. That's fair. That's fair. I guess the difference between what I would say is why digital real estate is so attractive, even compared to that, is like there's a tried and true system of like, I can go do X, Y, and Z, and boom, I have an asset that pays me recurring. Whereas a patent, it's like, how many times could you actually do that? Is there an actual path to making $1 million a year doing that? Of course, if one of your patents blows up, yeah, that's great. But I think that's the point we're getting at. Liam says, working hard today on something that will keep paying you tomorrow. 100%, dude. Just literally spend your time. It's like the easiest framework. Spend your time doing things that will pay you again and again and again that you own and you control, and you'll get rich. Johnny Wee, Shane, Johnny Wee says he has found real estate deals he said under 20K. I don't know if he means under 20K with the down payment. I still would be very fascinated what city he's looking at. Maybe he's looking at Caliente, Nevada. If you haven't been to Caliente, Nevada, you need to go this year. It is an amazing shithole. My grandma used to live there, dude. Thank goodness she died, dude. And I hope my other grandma doesn't hear me say that. But bro, Caliente, am I wrong?
I mean,
What, you got family there, dude? It's shit. It's like literally, I feel like have you guys heard of Skid Row? It's like the Skid Row of Nevada.
Anybody that's been through like central Nevada, there's really nothing there.
Dude, it's wild. And doesn't Caliente mean like very hot or some shit like that?
I don't even know.
Bro, I'm pretty sure like that. This is very important. Hold on. Meaning of Caliente.
Dude, you got to be careful, man. Coming from Terril, like you're not.
No, bro, Terrell's shit too. I'm not saying it's not. Caliente means hot. So yeah, there you go. You want to go see the hottest place on earth? There you go. Caliente, Nevada. But no, don't worry, Shane. I know where I'm from, and I'm not saying it's much better. But no, Johnny Wee, I would love to hear how you're finding deals under 20K, or if you're just trying to, I mean, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm very doubtful. Sean Curley says positive cash flow is impossible in LA. Everything's impossible in LA.
Yeah.
Except for doing TikTok dances with your boys. LA is such a unique place. I hope I never go back. And if that offends anyone on the stream, go to a new group. That's how I feel. I do love Irvine. I do love Orange County though. Not an LA guy. Me too. Okay, what else we got here? Let's answer one or two more. Michael has a good question. He says, Shane, tell us about your first site and the initial results.
Like
what's your very first deal that you did, and tell us how it went.
my very first deal actually probably, and this was just, it just happened to work out. I don't know if this is the best example to share because they still pay me today, but it's an insulation site in Vegas. $2,000 a month.
Wait, you still have the client?
Yeah, dude. I talked to him the day that we signed him up, and he won't even reply to my text.
But he's still paying.
Still paying. Like, I've talked to him a few times. She's happy.
Don't you love those though? Like, we have clients right now. Francesca texted me the other day. She's like, hey, so-and-so, he never answers my calls. I'm like, quit bugging him. He's paying the bill. Let him keep paying. Guys, if it's working, I'm not saying ignore your clients, but you're going to get you would never have that situation happen in SMMA. Never. The reason he's not talking to you, he's getting enough leads. He's like, dude, I'm happy. And I'm sure when you do hear from him, there's going to be an issue, but like for now, just ride it all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I would say my advice to that is like, and so there's a process to this, right? Like you just need to do it every day. That site, it's an awful area. Like Vegas is huge. Insulation is competitive. And I didn't touch any of I built a landing page, and for 6 months, I didn't even build a website. It was just the landing page with Google Ads. And then decided, one day, okay, I'm going to build this thing out. And that's the page I learned SEO on. And dude, it's like in the top 3, like it ranked, and I don't know how, but now it's $2,000 a month, almost all profit.
Oh, those are juicy. Those are juicy, dude. I love those.
So yeah, that was my first deal, and that's definitely the best. That's the best deal I had for sure.
It's funny though, that happens a lot. Like one of my first deals was a towing site. Didn't get paid a ton, but it's like it just pumped out leads. And I think sometimes it's because we do it. We're very simple, and we do it exactly like, okay, I heard that you need to do this, and we do it. And then after like 2 or 3, we start to skip steps because we think we know. And so I think that's why that happens. But I think that's actually more common than you think. Your first couple deals end up being some of your best deals because you just don't know. Or you go through enough people that you find that person that was already looking and they're just a perfect client. And so that also happens. So, dude, this has been, I love talking to Shane because he has such a different perspective. And he has context. And what a lot of people don't have that watch these calls or that are in this group or that are on just in the world is they don't have context. You don't know how good you have it when you haven't run a carpet cleaning business doing 12-hour days, 6 days a week, barely seeing your family. You don't know how good you have it when you haven't knocked doors in the blistering heat 6 days a week, 12 hours, sometimes on Saturdays, and getting rejected and making no money on a Saturday and not doing anything fun, missing the lake, not doing holidays. And so the other thing we've got to realize is like, all of us have a bit of a different story. And I think it's cool because you can take whatever your background and your story is, and you can use it to your advantage. So like Shane, I know when he's talking to clients, his pitch is a little bit different than mine. It's not, hey, I have a website. Although he can say that, but like, hey, I have a website. I actually owned my own carpet cleaning company. I was a small business owner, this is what changed my business. This helped me. That's why I'm doing it. And like, it goes so much further because people are like, okay, this guy gets it. So whatever your thing is, dude, lean into it. And I mean, it's just cool to see you go from, first of all, not doing my deal. Thanks for shutting me down, bro. It humbled me. To buy, dude, the worst part is you bought somebody else's leads, which makes me even more pissed. But nonetheless, you go from that to getting into this, to scaling this, to selling off your carpet cleaning business, and now going all in on this business. So Shane Terrell, you're the man, dude. Congratulations. I'm excited. Once you hit, 50K, we're gonna have you back on. 100K, we're gonna have you back on. And I know some people are like, oh yeah, that sounds like, dude, those numbers are not out of reach. I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna not take hard work. Those are things I've seen done again and again and again. So Shane, thank you very much, bro. Anyone else that has any questions, we'll try to answer them in the comments. And we will see you guys next week, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Thanks, bro.
See you guys.